Okay, hello everyone. Now we'll be moving on to the next task, which is task 8. And as you can see, I've already copied this code to NetBeans. So let's see how we can solve this. So over here, as you can see, we have got two classes, a test account class and an account class. In the account class, we have got a global variable, uh, a constructor and a normal method. And in the test account class we have got two types of methods. One is a print balance method and another, as you can see, main method. So the main method, I think you guys know what it does. It's quite normal. However, when you look at the print balance method, see, it's not a normal method, it's a static method. So what are static methods? uh, what makes it different, how is it different from non-static methods and stuff? I've already talked about this in my last video. I tried to be as brief as possible. So if you guys still have any problem related to static methods, you guys can go to my previous video and check it out. I've already talked about that in the first few minutes. So I'm guessing that you guys have no problem uh, related to static methods. So now let's move on. So in the main method, as you can see, the first line is over here is a print statement. So over here it's printing number of checking accounts, and then it's printing is there is something like this. Now what are these things? Checking account, it's calling on is a variable which is number of accounts. Now what is this? Now I'll be showing you an example which is not related to our current problem, but it will help you to understand. If you guys have no problem understanding what this is, you can skip this part. But if you guys still have problems understanding that what have we done over here, so I'll advise you to watch the next part which I'm going to show. It will be helpful for you in reverse engineering and also in tracing if you guys if the question is something like this. So for example, if there's a car class and you need to create an object, so this is the typical way you create objects of cars. And if you want to access a method of car class, so for example, if there's a method start engine, so that's how you access the method of a class, which a car class. That's how you do it. You create an object and using this instance variable c dot start engine, that's how you do it. Okay, but here is the problem. Over here, this is not an instance of an object. This is not like you have created a car c equals to new car. We haven't, there wasn't anything over here, it was blank. So what is this thing? In class we have talked about that if you have something like this written in your code, that means this is a class, this very thing is a class, and it's calling on a variable. So when a class calls on a variable, the variable is supposed to be a static variable. It is not a non-static variable. How do we call non-static variables? Well, you need to create objects the way I showed you before, like car objects and then c dot and stuff. However, if you want to access non-static variables, then the only way to do it is by using the class name, not by creating objects and by using the reference of the object. So yes, we have understood. Okay, there is a class checking account, and over there is a static variable number of accounts. No problem. We have to create, that means we have to create a class named checking account. Why do we need to create it? Because as you can see, there are only two accounts that were given in the question. We need to create a third class which will be named checking account. Okay, we'll create that in a while, but let's see what's the next line. What's the next line says? It says that there is a method print balance which is right over here, and in the parameter we are passing in an object of checking account. Okay, no problem. However, when you go up, we can see that the parameter can only take an account type of objects. So see, both of these things are two completely different entities. One is checking account and another is account. So how is this thing is able to uh, work, if that I may say. So this is exact actually what's happening. Account, my bad, account A equals to new checking account. Just copy this and save some time. Okay, this is exactly what's happening. We have created an object, and that object is being passed in this parameter, but it can only take account type of things, and this works. How does this work? So let's go to the board and see. Let me just clear it out. Okay, just move it over here. Okay, so what's actually happening is we have created a no, before that I'll just write something which will be easier for you to understand. So let's say we have written a similar thing but with different names. So what we have done is we have written this code. So what this code means is, as I've told you in class, the first line, animal A, that means we have created a box. The name of the box is A, and the type of the box is an animal type of box. That means this box can only hold addresses of animals. So this box A, we have created this box, is an animal type of box. This can only hold addresses of animals. That means in real life example, this can only hold address of a tiger. Maybe it will say that when you come to this box, it will say, okay, the address of a tiger is in Sundarban, or is in this place, or is in a zoo. It's in a zoo. So it's something like that. It can only give you addresses of animals. That's why when you write this new dog, that means when you're creating a dog object, and objects are created inside a heap memory. So it's in the memory. In the memory, we have got the actual objects. That means a dog is actually inside the memory. It is not inside this box. What's inside this box? Inside this box is an address. For example, the address is 2001, and this is 2001. So it's pointing we have got the address over here, 2001. And when you want to access this very dog, you come to this box. You will be like, okay, 2001. I know where this address is, and you use this address to go to the memory and find this 2001 mark, and you find this dog. And there are a lot of methods over here, a lot of variables, like usual. You can use them. And similarly, you have created another box, animal A1, for example. And over here, there's an address 2002. And maybe it's pointing to a different animal. Maybe it's a cat, because the cat is also an animal, right? It has got some code, and the address is 2002. So see, what I'm trying to say is not necessarily that always you need to write something like this: dog d equals to new dog. Okay, my bad. Not necessarily that you always need to write something like this, but this code will also work, because we are creating a box of type animal, and it can hold addresses of all types of animal, not any specific animal. It will not only hold of animal type, of dog type addresses. It will hold of every single animal address. So now, however, the very next code that I'm going to show you, this won't compile. This will give you an error. What sort of code I'm talking about? For example, dog d equals to new animal. This will give you an error. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to create a box of d named d. It's a dog type box. What we're trying to do is this very box can hold addresses of all types of animals. That means the animal kingdom is huge, and this dog box is saying that okay, I will hold addresses of all types of animals. No, you cannot do that. A dog type of box can only hold addresses of only dogs. A cat type of box can only hold addresses of type cats. And just like that, an animal type of box can hold addresses of all types of animals. Means it can be a dog, it can be a cat, it can be an elephant, but it cannot be a car, it cannot be a chocolate. We cannot do that. An animal box cannot hold something that is not an animal. It can hold everything of type animal. So hope that thing has cleared out a bit, I think. Okay, now let's why have I explained this to you guys is because similar type of thing has been happening, has happened over here. We have created an object of type checking account, and we're passing it in a parameter which can only take account type of things. That means account has to be a parent, a superclass, which can store all types of things which are uh, types of accounts maybe. That means checking account has to be a class which inherits or which extends accounts. Just like a dog has to extend the animal class, a checking account class has to extend account class as well, because this is the parent, because this code works as you can see over here. So a checking account class has to extend an account class. Okay, so far what you have learned is in the checking account class there has to be a static variable, and this checking account class has to extend account class. So I've already written the code over here. As you can see, a checking account class is extended the account class, and there is a static variable number of accounts. Okay, now let's go back to the test account. We're done till this point. Now let's move on to the next part. Over here we are going to the print balance, and we are passing again the same sort of object, and there's an account and stuff. However, over here the only thing that's different is a balance is being passed over here. Previously it was a default constructor, but now we need to create a constructor which can pass balances. That means we have two types of constructors, a default constructor and another constructor which can take in balances. No problem. We have created two constructors, and what will go inside these constructors I will talk about that in a while, because we are seeing some errors. I'll talk about a bit about the errors. Now till this it's fine, and the last line is number of checking accounts, and it prints number of accounts. Okay, so far so good. So we need to code some things inside the constructors, and I think after that we'll be good to go. Is there anything more? Yeah, there's one more thing. I haven't talked about what's inside the print balance. As you can see in the print balance, you have got the account balance, and there's another method, a.getBalance. So getBalance is a method that's inside the account. This is a method. So now when we are making an object of checking account over here. That means inside the checking account, as the checking account is extending account, it needs to override this very getBalance method. Because why? Because we are passing different balances, and this balance needs to go over here, and then it will get overwritten. Maybe now it will be 100, and after that we need to access the getBalance. So how do you do that? We need to override this very method inside checking balance. How we are being able to do this? Because we are extending the account, so it will get access to every type of methods and variables which are protected and public. But if it were private, it wouldn't have been able to access that. You can go and search it up, the different type of keywords, and okay, let's see. So it is returning the balance. So we have overridden this method, and to be honest, you also didn't need to override this method. I'll also show that I will delete this method and this will also work. So for simplicity, so that you can understand, I'll just keep the method over here for the time being. So we'll be making some changes, bring some changes to a checking account, this to constructors. So what sort of changes do we need to bring over here? So every time you check an account, the first thing you need to do is you need to increment this number of accounts. Because why? First time the number of accounts was 0, and then every time you check the account, checking account, number of accounts is 1, and again you check it, number of accounts is 2, and the number of accounts is 3, and at the end you see you get this, the output is this 3. That means every time you go to the constructor, you increment the number of accounts. So every time you get inside the constructors, you increment the number of accounts. So I will add something at top over there, just wait for it. Okay, we increment the number of accounts. So okay, we are done with this part, and but we are not done with this. How do you bring changes to the constructors? It's still showing some errors. What sort of errors are they showing? It's showing that constructor account in account cannot be applied to given types. That means in the account class we can see a constructor which can take in double type of values. So we need to pass. So as you have talked about in class, that when you actually extend any parent class, and when you run this code, when you make an object of child class, as you have made an object of child class, and when you run this code, it will not only run the constructors of a default constructor of the child class, this one, however it will also go to the parent class. It will run all the constructors of the parent first. That means if you have you create a dog object, new dog, so what will happen? It will go to the dog class and it will try to run this constructor, right? Not only that, what it will do, it will go to the parent class first. The parent class is animal, so it will go to the animal class, and then it will first run all the constructors of animals, and then it will come to the child class and run this constructor. That means it will go to the account class, it will try to run this very constructor. But how can it run it? We haven't set any. We have to make some changes to the balance first. Now how do we access the balance of this constructor? We have to send some balance to that very constructor. So for that you need to use the super keyword. We have talked about the super keyword before. So when you're using the default constructor, the account is set to be, balance is set to be 0.0, so we'll be passing the value 0.0, the default value. And then when we are using this very constructor, where you are being able to pass 100, 200, or any sort of values that you want, so we'll be able to pass just the keyword balance. So what's happening is from the test account, we are creating this object which is accessing this type of constructor which can take in double values. So it comes to the checking account, it comes over here and it passes 100, and then for the second constructor it passes 200. So for different objects it will pass different values. So it will go to the super constructor. What's a super? It will go to the account and it will find the constructor of account, well, where it can take in the double value, and it will set the balance to 200 or 100, and the balance will be set. And then when you will call get balance, it will return the balance we have over here. So makes sense. So first let's run this code and see the output, whether it matches with the one in the question or not. So number of accounts is 0, account balance 0.0. Yes, and it works. Yes, works. So yeah, that's how you solve it. And the another thing that I told you, that I will delete this line, and this code will all work just the way it worked before. So let's see same output. Why? Because when you try to access the get balance method, what we'll do, see, account A equals to new checking account. So it will come to the checking account, it will search for a method called get balance. Okay, where's get balance? Where's get balance? There's no method named get balance. Okay, if there's no method named get balance, okay, let me go and go to the parent class and search for get balance over there. Let's go to the parent class. Is this a get balance method? No. Yes, this is a get balance method. So it won't give any error. It will return the balance from where? Now where is the balance? It's right over here on top, the global variable. It will then return the balance and it will print it out. However, if the get balance method wasn't present in the parent class as well, then it would have given an error that it is not being able to find the get balance method from here as well. So yeah, it that's how it that's a very this is a very simple problem. The only thing that is different is you need to access the constructor of the parent by using the constructors of both of the two different type of constructors of checking account class, because you need to access the constructors first. You need to bring changes to the balance first, and then you need to that's how you do it basically. Now maybe you might have a bit different way of uh, doing the same problem. That's all right. That this is my way of doing it, and you can also share your thoughts on it. If you have any problem, you can comment below and let me know. Thank you so much.